let's pour one out for China Spring. The
Mhm.
Cougars saw their 13-game playoff winning streak snapped at the hands of Anna. DJ wrote about that a couple of different times this week. Obviously, her game story, but also in the rewind column. Anna thwarts that hope of a rare three-peat. It's very hard to do for a reason. So how impressive to you guys has this run been for China Spring? And do you feel like the Cougars will still remain one of those elite Class 4A programs? DJ, start with you.
Yeah, I do think that they're going to continue to be a really good team and a really good program. Yeah, I mean, they still have a lot of really good players coming back next year, even though they are graduating the majority of their guys. But the class that's coming back next year, I think, were freshmen when they won their first title. Well, their first of the back-to-back titles. So they've been there. They're gonna want to get back. They're gonna want to erase this season. Well, not erase, but just come back and say, like, we're still that team, right? And I think Tyler Beatty has got them working really hard.
I like how you did that.
They they it's a program that very much feels like they're gonna be playing for each other. And they don't like to really listen to a lot of the outside noise. It was just it's kind of a weird year. A lot of the guys that were producers last year moved on. And the ones that came back, like we said, they were really young, especially on defense. A lot of the O-line was also kind of young, and it that game on Friday was just one of those games where it kind of looked like they were going uphill. They kind of hurt themselves a little bit. And when your defense isn't able to get a stop, it kind of just makes it harder on offense, and it puts pressure on you. And it was really tough, like the whole season, like thinking, oh, China Spring's not good anymore because they lost to Melissa and they lost to Parish Episcopal. And they came into this week picked to lose against Anna by most people. But I still think that they're a good program. I think over the past 3 years, they've built kind of a trust and a confidence, not just within themselves, but with the people around the program and the community. People, like, even people that aren't from China Spring kind of like get tangled up with the hype of China Spring. I mean, I think a lot about Drake Toll and Cameron Stewart. Those are not even Texas boys. They're not even from the state. But they came in and kind of jumped on this bandwagon while they're covering these games for radio and calling the games. And we always kind of joke about how over the top they get, but they're
it's representative of the China Spring bandwagon.
Yeah, basically.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even anything against them. I went to school with both those guys, and they're really passionate about what they do, and it kind of reflects a little bit about what China Spring does to people who are around the program long enough. It's you want to believe in this team, and I think that's kind of what the Cougars have like built up over the last 3-4 years. And so I don't think
I'm glad you said it like that, because I'm going to steal it from you now and jump in. 3 or 4 years they've been in won 2 state championships. But you're talking about a program that's been a district champion caliber program for 20 years, 25 years maybe.
Yeah,
going back to
Mark Bell built that up, and these guys
Mm-hmm.
have guys like Brian Bell, his son, and Tyler Beatty have taken the baton and run with it.
But I think what you have now is with those 2 state championships, I think you kick it up a notch in the, like, especially for middle schoolers watching the varsity going, wow, we're really good. And that plays a role in how those kids start playing football in the 7th, maybe even 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade for sure. And I think what you're going to see is maybe in the next few years, like you saw with Midway when they went from the Kramer Robertson, Ryan Smith, Sam Glaceman period, then on to like the Ben Hicks, Tanner Mordecai, John Hubert teams. those kids, that are youngsters when they start doing it, want to be the ones to keep doing it. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we saw a new crop of stars emerge in China Spring in the next year or two.
Yeah, and I'm going to give a shout out to just the leadership there, starting at the top, really, with I mean, not the top, but athletic top with Josh Gregory at the athletic director position. They're a program that is good in really all sports. I mean, across the board. They care. They're invested. They have good support from the community. Good students, good athletes, and you see that translate to a lot of success, and then trickle down to their football coaching staff. I think there was questions, I think, after Brian Bell left, whether Tyler Beatty, it was his first head coaching job, would he be able to kind of keep this train rolling? Obviously he did. But beyond him, I think I look at guys like John Exline and Brendan Smith and all those assistant coaches that they have out there at China Spring, and I think those kids are coached up well, and fundamentally sound and have good technique, and so I think that's where you start, and then you get good players on top of that. And the big question to me will be just who's the next quarterback, obviously, because they've had a little bit of an embarrassment of riches at quarterback the last couple of years with Major Bowden and then Cash McCollum.
Both move-ins too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Both. Yeah, exactly. So maybe China Spring needs to do some recruiting. Get some of that NIL money.
Division I transfer portal.
Go out and find you a quarterback. Oh boy, we're gonna get China Spring in trouble here.
I gotta believe too that this is gonna carry over into other sports. Like, even though they didn't win another football championship, it's very likely that they could repeat in baseball, that maybe the basketball team picks up some steam. A lot of those guys also run track. I mean, Coach Mike McCollum is also the track coach, and he's an assistant coach for the football team. So I got to believe that everything's going to kind of trickle over into the other sports, just like the other sports have trickled over into football. But yeah.
And there's probably about 3 more X lines coming down the line, right?
Sure. I mean, Caden is only a sophomore.
The X line.
They never seem to run out of X lines. Shout out to the other programs at China Spring for sure. I saw a post yesterday where they won their basketball game yesterday, and a kid that I've known since he was that big, Hudson Phillips, kid I went to church with for many years, had 5 3-pointers. So, they're doing good things out at China Spring, and good for the Cougars.